The Knicks just swept the Philadelphia 76ers with a dominant Game 4 win, and their offense is starting to look nearly unguardable. There's so much to cover, but I want to start with a simple sideline out of bounds play the Knicks use and show how it created all types of problems for Philly. New York uses two versions of a similar concept, but this is the idea at its most basic. Brunson inbounds the ball to the center, he comes back to it for a handoff, and notice the cut from the wing. That clears space for Brunson to go that way if he wants. He does here, and now he has enough room to play one-on-one, and that's a pretty comfortable shot for him. Okay, here's the second version of the play, and there's some initial screening action up top for Hart and Bridges here, but I think this is just fluff to let these two get to their spacing. Then we notice McBride flashing to the ball, and they want to inbound it to him and get a handoff action going for Brunson. Deuce is covered there, so Brunson throws it to Mitch instead, comes back for a handoff, and again, he's attacking that empty wing. Embiid really struggled defensively in this series, and this play was a great way for New York to attack him like this. Okay, check this one out. It's that same version again, and this time Deuce does get open for the inbound, but Edgecombe denies Brunson to blow up the whole idea, and this is why I like this play, because even when it doesn't work, the Knicks end up with Towns up top, beautiful 5-out spacing, and Embiid's scared of Cat's shot, so he jumps at it. Towns can blow by and finish, so again, taking advantage of Embiid on the perimeter. I love this one, where they're back to that initial version, throwing it to the big right away, and again, VJ knows the play, so he's denying Brunson, but Brunson just gives him a little push and gets to the open space. He drains a three. They have plenty of counters to go to. This is my favorite example of this play, where the Sixers switch their matchup, so Embiid is on Hart, so Hart becomes the big, and Alvarado's in the game, so instead of designing this for him to attack here, the Knicks are actually looking for Shamet, who clears the wing with that cut, and then he's coming out the other way off an exit screen. And that's a nice idea, but this just does not work. Philly's all over it, but again, I love the reset. They're right into a Shamet-Towns pick and roll now, and as Shamet drives, Barlow is so afraid of Cat that he leaves the ball, and that is enough space for Shamet to finish. That's Towns' gravity at work. So that's a simple play that does a lot of things. It can get Brunson attacking open space, it drags Embiid into the action, and even when it doesn't work, Towns is such a weapon that they can still get great stuff from it. And speaking of Towns, he's become the focal point of the offense recently. He averaged 7.5 assists a game in the series and only 23.3 minutes a night. Let's take a look at how they're building the offense around him with more super simple but effective actions. We'll start with this play where Brunson enters it to Cat and then screens away for Bridges to get into a zoom action. The Sixers actually switch this nicely and they blow up the handoff, so Bridges curls it, that drags in the corner defender, and Towns has been really solid making these reads. He hits the corner right away here, and now Hart can attack the closeout and score. Okay, it's the same action here, but this time it's Bridges screening for Brunson. Again, the handoff isn't there, and this is the power of New York's personnel. Philly definitely can't switch Embiid onto Brunson, and because of Towns' shooting, Joel can't offer any help on that curl, so Maxey helps, and again, the corner's open. Deuce drains that one, and I like running it to the side with a good shooter in the corner, even though Hart had a solid season from three. One more time with this play, and the Knicks get tricky here. It looks like that same setup with the zoom option for Bridges, but Brunson actually slips out of it to run off of a flare from Hart. Cat's looking for it, but he doesn't like what he sees, so now he checks the other side where Bridges came off a screen of his own. And it's not wide open by any means, but look at the beautiful spacing you get when Towns initiates. McHale can play one-on-one, get to the paint, and Embiid is again terrified of Towns, so he leaves the ball, and it's a layup. And you can say what you want about the defense. Philly certainly had their share of breakdowns, but the Knicks create these pick-your-poison situations where there's just no right answer. Let's stick with that pick-your-poison idea and look at a different action with Brunson and Towns. It's just a simple handoff to get Brunson downhill, and again, the Sixers can't switch it. They don't want Bona on Brunson, and Oubre on Towns didn't go well for them either, so Oubre has to fight through this. He falls a bit behind, and Brunson gets to the rim to finish. Also notice the other three Knicks here. I like them staying active on the weak side and distracting the help just well enough to clear up the rim. Here's another example where where of course the replay gets in the way, but we can see they just ran that same play. Edgecombe actually fought through well, but letting Brunson get this deep is kind of a death sentence because he's a ridiculous shot maker, and that's a pretty easy one for him. So the very next possession, they get into it right away, and Embiid just saw Brunson score on this, so he wants to give some help, but Brunson just reads it and hits Towns on the pop, and I can see why this is difficult. They just burn every coverage. The Sixers did try to take Embiid off of Towns, and that went better for them, but New York can still find ways to score even when they do that. On this one, Embiid's on Anunoby and George is on Towns, so the Knicks go to this flex action for OG. The cut isn't there, but it gets Oubre trailing Brunson, and now Philly switches the handoff, so Oubre's on Towns, and that is no good. So now Embiid has to come double, and look at the pass from Cat. He's staring down the corner. Maxey and Oubre take the bait. It's a no-look dime. Oh my goodness. Overall, Philly tried to hide Embiid best they could, but again, there were just no good options, and so Brunson pretty much had a field day dragging him into pick and rolls and hitting pull-up jumpers. But the other area where New York really shined to me was in transition, where they averaged 1.6 points every time they got out on the break in this series. That means if you gave them 100 transition possessions, they'd score 160 points. That is wild, but Josh Hart was a huge reason for their success, and we'll see why. Hart's an awesome rebounder, so he can box guys out like this and then get right into a push down the floor, and this is really effective against the Sixers and Embiid, who aren't exactly known for their transition defense. Watch this one. He rips down the board here, and I love it from the Knicks. OG is ahead of Brunson filling the corner here, so Brunson sprints across the floor to the other corner, and just that little move combined with Hart pushing the pace breaks the defense. Oubre's running over to take the ball. Andre Drummond is very aware of how dangerous Cat is, so he's taking him, and Maxey gets caught trailing the play, not guarding anyone, so the Knicks have the advantage. New York finds the 2-on-1 right here. VJ is so scared of Brunson shooting that he gives up a layup, so again, not great defense, but the Knicks are surgical on the run. Hart wrestles away another rebound here, and Oubre is mad at the call, which leaves Bridges streaking down the sideline wide open, and Hart actually misses him under the basket, but it's fine because Cat fires it in there anyways. And I think Hart pushing it so hard on the break sticks in the defense's mind a little bit. He puts so much pressure on the rim himself that everybody's worried about stopping him, so they end up sending extra bodies. This play is a good example. Hart is on the run, and Grimes is matched up with him, but Edwards just freaks out here and wants to stop him, so he runs over, and now you have 2 on the ball. That's a nice rim run from Mitch to keep Drummond occupied, and that opens up another 2-on-1 on the backside. That is beautiful. Overall, this series really showed me how many matchup problems the Knicks create because of their roster. If the defense doesn't have the personnel to switch in the half court or to survive cross matches in transition, it's going to be a big problem. Philly struggled to get back and get matched up on the break, and they also struggled in the half court because they want to keep their matchups, but when you don't switch, it creates other openings and issues. It'll be a different test going forward when the Knicks face a better defense, but for now, this offense is absolutely humming, and I think Mike Brown, his staff, and all the players deserve a ton of credit. Please remember to hit subscribe if you haven't. We are close to our 30K goal. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one.